Hello. Welcome back. It's day-oyabunmi. Welcome to another episode of Messages from Ori, where I channel spiritual guidance from the collective consciousness. Today, I'm channeling divine guidance specifically for empaths. So if you are an empath, make sure you stick around. Before I get started, if you're interested in your own personal reading, tarot reading, and Ifa reading, if you're interested in Ifa-Orisa related ebooks, online trainings, or just other ebooks, please check out my website, daydreamalston.com. Ashe. So I hope that as you're listening to this, you're in the best of spirits, that you are well and uplifted. For those of you who may be a little bit on the fence about what an empath is, empaths are highly attuned to emotions and energy around them, okay? So essentially, if you're an empath, you are an emotional sponge. You pick up on the emotions that are around you in your environment, and sometimes you can actually pick up the emotions of someone you're close to that is far away. Like this person could live on a whole nother continent, and you could still pick up their energy and emotions, okay? So that's what it means to be an empath. Today I'm going to channel messages using the African American Tarot and a message deck I created. If you want a personal reading on this topic, check out my website, go to the store, and where it asks for your topic of interest, just put empath, okay? Now this is part 2 to an empath series I've done, and if you want to hear the first part, you're going to check out the Divine Hack tips for empaths, okay? And that's where I literally give like tips based on my own experiences as an empath and what I've learned. I'll provide tips on what you can do to support you in being balanced and well, okay? Great, so let's get started. Okay, now let's look at the positive aspects of you being an empath. What are the positive aspects of you being an empath? Because there are positive and negative aspects, right? So let's look at the positive aspects first of my listeners. Whoever's listening, what are the positive aspects of them being an empath? With the Knight of Pentacles here, I literally see in the African American Tarot, when you see this card, there is a man riding an elephant and he just throwing out money, honey. So with this, with the positive aspects, for some of you, your empathic nature is literally calling in wealth. It's calling in abundance to you. It also helps you or puts you in a position where you can support others. So your empathic nature, the abilities you have, right? Because in a way, it's a superpower once you learn how to work with it. It calls in wealth for you. And not only does it call in wealth for you, it puts you in a position where you can help others financially as well. What are the positive aspects of being an empath for those listening? For some of you, you know when to let cycles come to an end. Your empathic nature lets you know when something has run its course, when it's time for something to be done and over with. This is the Ten of Swords in the World card. Like, you know when it's time to close out a cycle. Your empathic nature also alerts you to enemies and snakes in the grass. Like, you'll know that someone is off and you won't deal with them. Like, you'll know when a situation or a person is no good and you stay away from them. For some of you, this makes you very good healers. Some of you may work in the medical profession and people don't understand that your energy is supporting their health and well-being. Like, you're literally helping people to heal by just being around them. Other positive aspects of being an empath for my listeners, please. We have the Magician here. So a positive aspect of being an empath for you is that you literally are able to manifest what it is that you want here on the earthly plane. This gives you like a straight I want to say a straight shot or a direct connection to the heavens, to the divine. You're able to intuitively sense things that put you in positions to get the things you want, to manifest your desires. This also makes some of you, of course, highly psychic. You're able to hear from the divine. I see that you get some really powerful and impactful messages from the divine that you're able to share with others because of your empathic nature and abilities. Let's see what the negative aspects are of you being an empath. What are the negative aspects of my listeners being an empath? Sometimes you give away too much of your energy. You are too open to others and people are able to siphon energy off of you. So you have to be careful with that. Every day you should say something like, I call back my energy from the 4 directions. Any energy I've given away willingly and unwillingly, I'm calling it back to myself for my own use and purposes now. Some of you are very easy to siphon information off of. Be careful of being too sharing overly sharing too much of yourself, of your emotion. It kind of makes some of you an easy target. So you have to learn how to protect yourself. Negative aspects of being an empath for those listening. Negative aspects of being an empath for those listening. The negative aspects sometimes, I see you being too complacent. Like sometimes you just get to a point where you're too complacent and you are too agreeable. I see that as well. Like there's something about people pleasing that comes up with this empathic nature. I guess because you're taking on so much energy and emotion from others. Maybe you're very sympathetic to others' situations, and because of that, you can be an easy mark for people. So you have to be very careful of being too open. Again, there's like this message of being too open, too available to people. So be careful. Negative aspects of being an empath. Sometimes you pick up other people's emotions and energies to the point where you may mirror some of their bad habits. So you have to be careful about that as well. Again, I keep getting this thing about giving away too much. For some of you, your empathic nature is tied into empathy, right? So we know empathy is the ability to walk in other people's shoes. But there needs to be a cutoff where you're not literally taking on their energy, walking in their shoes, but literally taking on some of their behaviors, bad habits, and the like. I see some of you really lose your balance and your peace when you're tuned into your empathic nature. So that's how you know when you feel that, right? And you have to go back and listen to part 1 because I give a tip about how you can identify when you're picking up other people's energies as opposed to it being your own energy or emotion. You have to be careful because it can really throw you off and throw you off balance. I see that some of you might actually go towards eating too much and drinking too much when you pick up the energy of others. You don't know what to do with all of that emotion, so you may get into some really addictive behaviors. I see that also. You can be emotionally unstable. You can be unreasonable, stubborn, and hot-headed when your empathic abilities are out of whack, because you just have too much emotion on you. You have too much energy on you, and it causes trouble and issues for you. The last question here is, how can you center yourself when you feel overwhelmed by other people's emotions? So let's close with that. How can you center yourself when you feel overwhelmed by other people's emotions? There's a need to let things go. I'm seeing the need to just kind of step away, to, go into isolation, go into solitude when that happens for some of you. Just getting some more cards. For some of you, creativity helps. Enjoying the senses, enjoying, sensuality, taste, touch, smell, things like that. Like really just enjoying life really helps you to get back to a place of groundedness when you're overwhelmed with other people's emotions. You can center yourself also by tuning into your intuitive nature. So it's your intuitive nature that makes it possible for you to tune into other people's emotions. But there's also, so much wealth in the intuitive nature that's there just for you, right? That comes from your own storehouses of wisdom that you can tune into and use that as a benefit for yourself. There's also a message here about taking the lead and really, exercising your willpower in order to ground yourself. I see for some of you that you may feel really overwhelmed when you're, picking up so much emotions and things like that of other people's. They're saying that's when you kind of go back to center, go back to doing things that fill you up, that that you're interested in. If you love your work, go charge towards your work with the Chariot here. If you love your art projects, charge towards that. It's just like really going towards the things that lift you up and boost you up. I see two cards about that kind of represent like fight here with the Five of Swords and the Seven of Wands. So in order to center yourself, they're actually making it seem like you have to fight for your well-being. Like you're being encouraged to fight for your well-being, to, like I said earlier, develop like a toolbox. Like what ways are you going to support your well-being, when you're taking on too much energy and emotion from others? And go back to part 1 of this video with the divine hacks, tips for empaths, because I talked there about different things you can do. But it's like it's necessary for you to fight and guard yourself very well when it comes to this. Like you have to have some type of spiritual rituals in place, and practices where you're guarding yourself. They say when you're feeling overwhelmed, trust that you are supported by your divine team. You should be calling out to your divine team, asking them to give you clues on how to remain balanced. There's something again about just feeling safe, right? And supported. They're saying something about dropping the shield and knowing that you're safe and supported. So funny enough, they're telling you to kind of fight for your well-being in these situations, but they don't want you to be so guarded that you're separating yourself from other people, okay? Let's get a couple of extra cards. How can you center yourself when overwhelmed by others' feelings, energies, and emotions? The Queen of Pentacles here. The Queen of Pentacles is all about grounding. I'm going to encourage you to get out in nature, to take walks. For some of you, if you're into gardening or farming, that's going to really help you to ground. For some of you, it's going to be whatever your money-making endeavors are, focusing on that will really help you to kind of release the the energy of others. Also, planting your feet, your bare feet on the ground is going to help. One more. And then we have the Sun card. Get out, have fun, tune into, your inner child. Play is really going to help you as well. So really quickly, I got this spread on empaths from Rose B Mystics. You can check it out online. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to chat with you next time. Bye.